Welcome to the channel. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Join me today for a unboxing and a full review on the brand new 2021 Cadisen. Let's open the box. What do we have here? We've got the Cadisen manual and we've got another little card here, the warranty card. Let's put that away. Now I did manage to catch up with the Cadisen Royal Oak Homage, which is what we have here, just not too long ago. I was a bit late on that watch, but I did wait, and it was the 42mm version, the smaller version, which is probably, I think, the preferred option, as the original one that they did was just a little too big. Now I noticed this watch while I was doing my AliExpress shopping, as I showed in the video a few weeks back now, and this really caught my eye. And this is the brand new, as mentioned, new released Royal Oak Homage by Cadisen, and as you can see, it's got a skeletonized dial. Now this is an unboxing, but I can also review it because I did the review on the Royal Oak Homage not too long ago, as I just said, and so there's not much changed except the dial. So we just are going to look at the changes on this new version and just have a closer look at the dial and what this actually brings us. So I'm pretty certain I can also get the review done as well. So here we have the watch, and as you can see, very different. This is my first skeletonized dial. You know, I've always been able to admire them from a distance. I've never actually bought one. I think practicality is one of the main reasons, and also I've not seen any great dive watches that have a skeleton dial. I don't know if they do any, but there's an idea. So let's just have a little look at that. Of course, let's look at the sticky on. So bear with me while I take all that off so we can have a closer look at this crazy skeletonized version by Cadisen. So here it is, the new Cadisen Royal Oak Homage 2021 release, and as you can see, it is quite different to the one they did before. Different in only the way they've done the dial and the movement used. Everything else is exactly the same. That's why I haven't bothered unwrapping it, but I'll get into that later on through the video. So let's just have a closer look at what we have here. I'll talk about the specs and dimensions for anyone who hasn't seen the previous review or it's the first time you seeing this watch on camera. So the dimensions are as follows. You've got a case diameter of 42mm. You do have a lug to lug of 48mm, and you've got a case thickness of 13mm. The weight of the watch on this chunky bracelet is 180 grams, and the water resistance is 50 meters. Now, in terms of specifications, you have a sapphire crystal with no AR coating. You've got a full 316L stainless steel case, bracelet construction, and you also have the Seiko NH70 open heart movement, which is being used in this watch. Now, if it's the first time you are hearing about the Seiko NH70 movement, what it is, it's open heart movement, exactly the same as the NH35 in terms of reliability, the beat rate and the rated accuracy. The only difference is that this watch, of course, as you can see, does not have a date function, but it does hand wind and it does indeed hack. And just the way the movement is being made allows it to show off this open heart mechanism here, which allows you to see the beating heart of the watch. Let's just brighten up the ISO there so you can see that a lot better. So the price for this watch was £103, which is approximately $150. So let's take a look at what is different with this Cadisen. So the first thing being is, which you'll notice, is the crown. Now on the previous version, the crown was a totally different crown, and this is closer to the Royal Oak Homage, and they've also actually gone ahead and signed this with the Cadisen logo. Now this is a hexagonal shaped crown, so it gives you good grip. It doesn't screw down, but you can hand wind it from here, pull it out just to hack the movement. So that's a good upgrade, something which they have changed, and I think it should have been included on the 42mm version that they did. Now, looking at closer at the dial, what you'll see is, of course, we already mentioned the open heart and the fact that it's a skeletonized dial, and just look at the features slightly closer. So you do have this very dark grey, sort of anthracite color. You have a ring which is present around the dial where the actual hour markers are applied. Now the hour markers themselves are chamfered, polished. I'm just really trying hard to capture some light here, and you know, they are done to a pretty decent quality. Now behind that, you also have the cage, which is of course see-through, but you've got some really nice and very fine detailing, albeit it is a bit dark. but it does kind of fit nicely around that movement. Now, the NH70 movement isn't the most prettiest. There are a lot of movements out there, especially when we got watches like the Cadi-design, which show us a very, very nice skeletonized dial and a very nice movement to look at from the inside. So I think this movement was actually designed just to show the wheel and nothing else. But you know, Cadisen have gone out, tried to think outside the box, and of course that thinking is appreciated. Now the hands used, you've got very simple dress watch style hands, and you can see that they are chamfered, they are silver, and they are polished. Now it is going to be difficult, as is the case with most skeletonized watches, is the fact just legibility. Now I don't think people buy them for legibility reasons. They buy them just because, you know, they look quite cool, and you can see the mechanism working, and that's why I really haven't bought one, just due to practicality. But visibility will be an issue, but I think it just looks funky. It is quite different, and at a distance it does look quite nice actually. Now, one thing which I noticed just after I took off the wrapping was the logo. The logo at the 12 at the 6. I don't know if you can see, but it's actually sitting just behind the sapphire glass. They've actually printed it on the underside of the glass, which is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know why they've done that. So this is the strangest thing to me. I don't know if that's the norm when it comes to skeletonized watches, but the hands are actually behind the logo for the first time in my life. Yeah, I don't know, that was a bad choice, right? So what I have seen on some watches is the fact that the logo is basically just applied to the cage, and you've got automatic at the bottom. If anything, they should have gone with the logo on the center of the case. That is just very obstructive in my opinion. It doesn't look nice at all, and it's just, have a look at it, it's actually on the glass. And even with this kind of dial, I think even if they went sterile and no logo option, I think that would be even better. For me, it's just getting in the way, to be honest, and it's hard enough seeing the watch and the hour markers without this logo at the top clock sort of hindering that. But the cage does have really nice detailing, almost like Geneva stripes that you can see on the cage. Now they also do a PVD version, which is going to look pretty much stealth. It's going to be a watch that you can't even see, to be honest. You know, with the black case now and that dial, you really are going to struggle telling the time. But there you go. Now, credit to Cadisen. I think they do a very good job in actually manufacturing the watches. You know, there's a lot of detailing present. The bracelet, the case, exactly the same as the previous version. But I do like the highlighted bezel, that polished lip around the bezel. I like the brushing that goes straight across. I will link the full review of the previous Cadisen just so you can have a look at it. Now this one was just a short review looking at the new release. Now the reason I haven't taken off the rest of the wrapping is this watch isn't going to stay here for very long. As soon as I am done with the review, this is going to go on my eBay store. It just really isn't for me. But I don't mean to put anybody else off that is interested in this watch, so I will leave links in the description. And you know, I do struggle with skeletonized dials, as mentioned. I can appreciate them, but from a distance, on the wrist, you know what, you're really not going to see anything. So talking about on the wrist, let's do a wrist check. What am I wearing today? I'm wearing a Seiko chronograph, an old school aviator quartz chronograph. Butterfly clasp as you do on the last bracelet. And there we have the Cadisen skeleton oak homage on the wrist. Now, as far as, you know, skeletonized dials go, I think the detailing, when you can get some light, is actually quite nice. It's quite pleasing to look at. But that logo is just really getting in the way, and it's actually getting quite annoying just having to see that, and the fact that the hands are behind it. Of course, what you can do is you can remove the crystal and you can try and scrape it off. That being sapphire, it shouldn't scratch at all. but that text should be able to, you should be able to remove that pretty easily. So that's it, guys. Kind of a short review by myself today, but there we go, the new Cadisen. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you very soon on the next video.